G'day guys and welcome to this week's edition of Friday's Funny. This week we have jokes from this bloke. So let's get started with our first joke. A man's walking down the road and he sees a little boy riding in his little wagon, and he sees that there's a rope tied to his dog's balls. The man says, "You know, I bet if you put that rope around your dog's neck, that cart will go a lot faster." The little boy says, "Yeah, I know, but then I wouldn't get the cool siren." A man and his wife were in bed sleeping. All of a sudden they heard a knock on the door. So the guy gets up, answers the door. He sees the drunk at the door and says, "Excuse me sir, but sorry to bother you, but do you mind if you can give me a push?" The man looks at him and says, "It's 3 AM in the morning and it's pouring down with rain." He says, "I don't think so." So he shuts the door and goes back to bed. His wife turns to him and says, "Who was that?" The guy says, "Oh, just some drunk who wanted a push." His wife says, "Don't you remember 3 months ago when we broke down? 3 guys stopped, pulled over and gave us a hand?" So the guy looks at his wife and says, "Fine, I'll go down and give him a push." So he goes downstairs, opens the door, and he yells out, "Are you still there?" The guy says, "Yes." He says, "Do you still need a push?" He says, "Yes." And the guy says, "Well, where are you?" He says, "I'm over here, over by the swings." A lady goes and sees a Chinese sex doctor and says, "My husband won't have sex with me anymore, and it's making me so unhappy and depressed." So the doctor says, "Take off all your clothes." So the lady takes all her clothes off. Then he says, "Crawl on hands and knees from one side of the office to the other." So she does that and comes back and says, "So doctor, what's wrong with me?" So the doctor says, "You have what's called Zachary disease. Worst case I ever seen." The lady says, "Zachary disease? Well, what is it?" The doctor says, "Zachary disease is when your face looks exactly like your ass." Well, that wraps up another edition of Friday's Funny. If you'd like to be featured on Friday's Funny, all you need to do is do a video of yourself telling your joke, then upload it to your channel as private or unlisted, and then PM me the link to your video, then I shall download it and add it to a future episode of Friday's Funny. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next week with another edition of Friday's Funny.